Hi, I'm Sarah with Core Motion Fitness. Thanks for joining me today for a 30-minute sport mobility stretching class. We are going to work on range of motion and mobility, and it's kind of a flowing sequence, so all you need is your mat, and let's go ahead and get started. Let's take our feet wide, just a little bit wider than our hips. We're gonna go ahead and roll our body forward. So roll forward, rounding through your spine, lift up at the top, and then we're gonna rotate to one side, so a little pivot on the toes, and rotate to the other side, and that is our motion. So let's go ahead and repeat that a few times. So a little bit bigger bend in the knees if you'd like to. Reach all the way up at the top, and then rotate to one side and the other side, and just make it nice and fluid, and you can take this at your own pace. If you wanna move faster or slower than me, it feels so good to move our bodies. And we'll do this one more time. So go ahead and take a nice rounded back, big reach at the top, and rotate. And moving on, we've got a dynamic knee lift next. So I'm gonna turn to the side for you. You're gonna lift one knee up, so finding that balance, okay, ankle stability. And then we're gonna reach our arms forward and shoot our legs straight back into a warrior three, and then let's repeat that. So knee lift right here in the middle. And if you need to, you can tap down in the middle and then go into your warrior three, no problem. And go ahead and join me at your own pace. Great job, let's keep going. We'll do two more on this side before we switch to the other side. And one more. Wonderful. And let's step that foot down to the ground. Take your standing leg and just do a couple of ankle circles here and go in the other direction. It really wakes up our ankle flexion. So starting on the other side, knee lift and reach. Keeping in mind that each side has different abilities and balance, and that is okay. Great job. And again, your option, if you need to modify this, you can always tap to the ground instead of reaching back into that warrior three. Completely up to you. And let's try one more right here. Big knee lift and reach it all the way back. Very good. And just like on the other side, take that standing leg, rotate the ankle around in both directions, and we are gonna move on. We're gonna go back to our wide stance, but this time it's more of a squat. So we're gonna squat down nice and deep, knees wide, reach across our body, and then come through the center, reach across to the other side, and then sink down into a nice big frog position. So fingers wide, elbows pushing on the insides of the knees, and let's try that again. So hips come up, reach across your body, and switch to the other side, and then deep squat, palms open wide. Good job. Let's do two more. Really warming up our legs and hips here. And hold. All right, last time, maybe reach for the opposite side this time. Reach across your body. And into that nice deep frogger, very good. Let's move on. We're gonna come to a standing position here. So kick your heels up, kind of release the quads. They got a little bit of work there at the same time. This next move is a curtsy lunge. So watch first if you like. Curtsy lunge. The back leg is going to come up and around, tap forward, and then go right back into the curtsy lunge. So join me when you're ready. Come up and around. Another exercise in balance. Curtsy lunge, we wanna rotate towards our front leg, trying not to open our body too wide. Get a nice engagement through the core. And let's do two more. This feels so good on the hips. Great stretch in the bottom, and that mobility as we open up. Good, last one. And done, very good. Kick out your feet, okay? Point and flex your toes. It's always good to mobilize those ankles after we use them for balance. Let's go to the other side. So curtsy lunge. This leg comes out, up, and taps over. And let's go again. So it's a little bit of work happening here. Even though we are mobilizing and stretching, you're also feeling your muscles working, which is wonderful. Great job. Let's do 2 more. And last one. Good job. And tap it over and reset. And again, kick those feet out. All right, we're gonna go back to our squat position. I know there's a lot of moves that happen from this squat position, but this time we're gonna focus on a hinge as well. So hinge is for the back of our body, posterior chain. So I'd like you to squat down nice and deep. We're gonna reach our hands wide, so to the corners or to our toes, and then lift our hips high, reach our hands out in front of us, go to mostly straight legs if you can, and then drop right back down. Good job. And from that side view right here, nice deep squat, trying not to round our back in this one. And then go to a flat back, reach biceps by your ears. And let's do 2 more. And here's your very last one. And we are gonna move on from here. So stay in that hinge for a moment. And then let your body fall down. Arms come right down in front of or in between your legs, and just rock side to side. Great job. All right, bend both knees, roll yourself up, come to the back of your mat, and we're gonna walk ourselves out into a plank position. So take the hands to the ground, walk out into a plank position, and then hold for just a moment. This next move is a really great stretch for the hips and obliques, but we're also going to feel a nice extension through our spine. So point your toes, shoulder blades are pulled down and back. We've got an up dog here to start with. Okay, and we're gonna revisit, we're gonna come back to this position every single time. So the next thing is a hip swivel. And this is a little different. What I want you to do is just turn onto one side. So turn onto one side, keep your hands firmly planted. You're gonna feel the stretch right through the obliques and the hips and the bottom part of the bottom of your body here. And then we'll go back into our up dog. And keeping in mind your up dog may be right here, and that's perfectly fine. And then swivel the hips to the other side. And then right back through the center. Good, keep going, just go at your own pace. And again, if this is too high, bend the elbows, and you will feel the stretch just the same from this position. Hold that swivel as long as it's comfortable for you. Let's go ahead and do 1 more on each side. It just feels so good to move our hips in this way. And last one. And right up the center and hold. Moving into a child's pose next. Send your hips back and reach your arms out nice and long. I want you to take your hands, palms up, thumbs out, and enjoy that stretch for the shoulders. All right, our next one is a dynamic child's pose and moving into camel stretch. So we'll flip our hands back down to the ground once again. We'll stay in this child's pose for just a moment, and then we're gonna lift our body up. So we'll lift ourselves up. We'll start with our hands right to our hips only, and open up through the front of our body. So this is your modified version, and I'll start moving into a more advanced version here if you'd like. So right back down to child's pose. And then roll yourself up. Okay, a little bit more advanced version is to reach down toward the heels. You gotta find them first. And roll your shoulder blades together. And then come out of it in the exact same way, one hand at a time. Reach back to child's pose. Again, move through this sequence at your own pace and enjoy. And let's go ahead and take 1 more time right here. Up into that camel. Again, your choice, hands on the hips or on the feet. But we're gonna rotate our shoulders back and around, lift our chin ever so slightly. And then reset. Good job. Let's go back into that child's pose just for a brief moment and move our hips side to side. It feels so good. And from here, let's go ahead and take it out into a prone position. So we're gonna lie on the floor, take one hand down, take your right hand, grab a hold of your right foot, okay? And option one is to have the head resting on your hand and just putting pressure against your right hand. Option two is to lift your upper body and continue to put pressure against the right hand. And then option three is to lift your right knee off of the ground, continuing again, pushing against that right hand. So we're gonna go down and up with this motion. So lower everything down, and then on an exhale, lift it up. Not only are you feeling a stretch in your quads, you're also feeling a stretch in the front of the shoulder, a little bit through the hip flexor, obviously extension in the spine. All great things working together in our body. And one more time. Big exhale and lift. Very good. And let that leg rest on the floor. And let's go ahead and go to the other side. So again, begin first with just holding onto your foot. Determine where you need to start. Again, maybe you want to come up to this full position by lifting the knee and lifting the chest. It's up to you. And we're gonna go back down to the ground and go ahead and exhale, lift. And again, for you, it may just be a little baby lift of the head and pressure on your left hand, and that's it. We'll go ahead and do two more. Big lift if you can. And one more time, lift it up. And release. Very good. Take your hands right underneath your head, and we're just gonna press our hands into the ground. Look forward. Good. Tuck your toes and squeeze through your quads, and go ahead and engage your glutes. And we're gonna pause here for just a moment in this nice extended spinal position. Roll over onto your backside into a seated position. First things first, we're gonna sit tall right on top of our sitting bones, and then round ourselves back, scooping our belly button in toward our spine, and then lift back up. We're mobilizing the spine. We're getting ready for a nice bridge. It's gonna feel wonderful on your back and shoulders. And one more time here, rock back. And lift it all the way up. Very good. We're gonna plant our hands right underneath our shoulders with our fingers turning slightly out. Now to begin with, roll your shoulders back in place. We're gonna start with just a baby lift here. So first option is just lifting our hips off of the ground and then setting them back down. So just getting used to supporting your body in this position. And if you feel more comfortable with your hands turned in like this, that's fine too. Find a good position for your hands. And then next up, we're taking it all the way up into a full bridge. So engage your core, take a deep breath, and we're gonna exhale and press ourselves up with our hips high. Good, chin up, roll your shoulder blades together, and then we'll go right back down again. We're not staying there very long. Just gonna feel that really great stretch in the front of the shoulder. So lift back up. Maybe it doesn't feel good for you, again, and that option is to just stay right here and then lower back down. So listen to your body. Let's do two more. Great job, last one. And release, good. Staying on our backside here. I want you to scooch towards the end of your mat, making sure that you have some room to roll back on so you don't roll onto a hard surface. We're going to take our toes to the ground. This is kind of a Pilates rolling like a ball. We're gonna add some more to it. So we're gonna tuck our chin, hands right on the top of our shins, roll yourself back, and then roll yourself up, stretch out your legs, and tip forward towards your toes, okay? So that is our pattern that we're gonna move through. So take it at your own pace. Once again, we're gonna roll back, and then roll all the way up, stretch out the legs, tip forward, And then do it again. And again, if you need to stay in that hamstring stretch a little bit longer, feel free to do it. But the goal here is dynamic mobility. Good, let's try 2 more. And last one, roll it back. And hold here for just a moment. Good, now lift your chest. I know it's hard to do that. Maybe you need to reach to your ankles instead of your toes. And then round yourself forward. So if you can reach your toes, round. And then lift the chest again. And one more time, round. And release. Very good. We're gonna roll over onto our knees. So beginning with just a nice anterior tibialis stretch. This is just a fancy name for your shins. Okay, we're gonna just sit here, not putting too much weight on our heels, but I want you to point your toes and press your shins into the ground. Now sit up nice and tall, lift your chest, a small arch through the low back. And we're just gonna pause here for a moment. Good, and come out of that, rock forward, rest your hands to the ground, and we'll do it one more time. So again, you're feeling the stretch, that lengthening through the shins. So lift up, press your toes and shins to the mat, and hold. And moving out of this, continuing to increase flexibility through our shins and ankles, we're gonna go into a seated thinker. So take your right foot, place it right next to your left knee, and we're gonna rock our body back so our right heel is on the ground. Now we wanna lift our chest at the same time, okay, and put a lot of pressure in that right heel. And then creating some ankle mobility, we're going to rock forward, trying to keep our heel to the ground. So I like to even reach my arms forward. It helps my body move. You're gonna feel nice lengthening through your Achilles as well. So reach here, and then just bring it back. Good job, let's do it again. Reach forward. Try to keep that heel on the ground as long as you can, and then sit back. And let's do it one more time. Reach forward. And sit back. All right, same thing, other side. So drop the knee to the ground and take your left foot right next to your right knee. Just kind of get comfortable first. It may not be a really comfortable position for your ankle, and maybe you have really flexible ankles. So everybody's a little different. So rock back, sit back into your left heel, chest up. And then reach forward, trying to keep that heel on the ground. And then rock back again. Good, continue at your own pace. And let's try one more right here. Big reach. And release. All right, moving into some bigger muscle groups now. We're gonna take our left foot and step it forward. So left foot steps forward, right foot goes back into a low lunge. So this might be enough for you right here. You don't wanna move on from here, and that's okay. We're gonna take it into a low lunge. Take your left hand on your left leg, and then step your right foot in, and we're gonna come to standing position. So step in, we're gonna lift all the way up, and then right foot is going to step right back into that low lunge again. And you can have the left hand on your thigh here for a little extra support if you'd like, and then step that back leg up and in, and lift. Good. Now notice what happens in your left leg. Mine is tending to rock in a little bit as I step up. So drive pressure through your heel and try to keep your left knee aligned with your toes. And we'll do one more time right here. Low lunge, and all the way up, and hold. Very good. Okay, let's go back. Right leg is forward, left leg is back. Pause in this low lunge for a moment. Get your bearings. Maybe put your right hand on your right leg. And then let's begin. Our left leg steps in, and we lift all the way up. Good, repeat. And And you'll notice the imbalances in your body. I noticed that I rock to the outside of my right foot, whereas my left leg rocked in. So just pay attention to those things and try to ground your feet. Try to push evenly through the foot to come to standing position. And let's do one more right here. Low lunge. And step it up. And that brings us to a standing position. Perfect. All right, we're gonna take our legs wide. Actually, we'll start narrow and then we'll go wide. So we're gonna step out into a lunge with our right leg leading. So step into a lunge, this is your first move. We're gonna practice for a moment. So knee points toward the toes and then you're gonna step forward, okay? Or step center. Let's do it again. So lunge to the side and then step center. Perfect. And adding on, as we come in, we're gonna add a rotation to the direction that we lunged with. So lunge right, and then rotate, and let's do it again. Now maybe you want a little bit more out of this, and your next option is to keep your knee lifted and rotate towards your knee. It might be a little harder, but try it out. Brace the core and rotate. Good, we'll do two more. And it's okay to tap down. We're just creating mobility. We're not looking for perfection at all. And done. Set that foot down, kick your feet out. Let's go to the other side. So just the lunge first. So lunge side, knee points toward the toes, and then step it in. Good, continue. And one more like that. All right, on this next one, we're gonna add the rotation with both feet planted. So rotate towards the direction you just moved. And again. All right, if you want to, you're feeling a little fancy, you can take the leg up and then again, rotate towards the lifted knee. Let's do a couple more like that. And last one. Very good. All right, great job. And moving on, let's take our feet wide. Toes are gonna turn out ever so slightly. We're gonna hinge over at our hips, okay? Begin with placing your right hand on the ground and open your left arm up. Now we're gonna make this dynamic by closing it up, thread the needle, so you're threading your arm underneath, and then you're gonna lift back up. And thread it underneath, and lift back up. And if that's too much stretch, take your feet in a little closer to each other, or you can even bend your knees if you need to. And one more time. Good job. All right, before we go to the other side, we are gonna come up to standing position, let the blood flow out of our head for a moment, and then go right back down. So hinging at the hips, place your left hand on the ground and reach up, and then thread that needle. And you're gonna feel the shifting that's going on in your hips. It's gonna feel amazing because you're getting your inner thighs to release and get stretched out. And good job. Let's do one more right here. And once again, coming through the middle, bend your knees and roll yourself up. All right. So next we have a big rotational movement. We're gonna incorporate that side lunge into this next movement pattern. So feet come back together. We already practiced, let's lunge to the right first. So lunge to the right, reach your hands down towards your right foot, and then you're gonna, like you have a ball in your hand, I want you to circle up and over to the side, and then go right back into that lunge. So let's try it together. Lunge and circle up, and over, and it does not have to be a fast movement at all. So maybe you want to reach a little bit more. Good. And right back down. Let's do two more just like this. Reach it up. Great job. And last one. Up. And done. All right, let's move to the other side. So you can start with your feet together, kind of get centered, and then lunge over to the other side. Remember, we start with our hands coming down, and then this time we reach over to the opposite side, up and over, and then back into our lunge. Check your lunge every once in a while, knee pointing toward the toes, and reach it up. Notice my legs go straight as I come into this big rotation. Great job. Hopefully you're feeling amazing at this point. And we'll do one more. So reach it across all the way up. And done. Very nice job. All right, bringing your feet together. Our next movement is a chair. So our feet are close to each other. We're gonna work on spinal extension. So we want to reach our arms as long as we can here. And then we're going to push our hands back and rise up onto our toes. So push your hands back. Okay, squeeze your shoulder blades together, rise up onto your toes. And let's do it again. Sit nice and deep. Reach your arms as long as you can and push your hands back. Hard to balance for me right now. And keep going. Maybe you want to go a little lower, squeeze your inner thighs tighter together. Perfect. Now, can you press your hands a little further back behind you? I know it's hard to do all these things together, but try it out. Very nice. And here's our last one. Drop into those heels and push back. And we're gonna finish with an Atlas move. So all that means is we're gonna twist ourselves up and tip to the side. So take your right foot behind, okay? We're gonna crouch down into a small ball here. Then your ankles or your heels don't have to touch the ground. From here, we're just going to lift up, push our hips to the side as our arms go in the other direction, and then right back down again. Arms open, crouch down. And if crouching down all the way doesn't feel good on your knees, go as low as you're comfortable with. And two more right here. Crouch it down. Good job. It's good to be able to get down to the ground and right back up again, isn't it? We should be doing that in our daily life activities. And last one. Good. Now just hold here for an extra moment. Push your heels to the ground. Reach your arms long. And unwind. Very nice. Step your feet apart, take your other foot behind, and then again, crouch down. And again, be mindful, it might not feel the same on both sides. Reach up and over to the side. Great job. Continue, go back down. Keep the chest up. We never want to round forward on ourselves, so keep your chest lifted. Up and over. And one more time right here. All right, we are gonna stay here for just an extra moment. So reach, push your arms, and then unwind your legs. Let your arms fall by your sides. Roll your shoulders up, back, and around. Our final stretch is for our neck and upper back. So take your hands by your side, tuck your chin, and then while your hands are here, I want you to slide them back behind you, pulling your shoulder blades down and back, and then lift your chin up. And bring it down again. Keep your knees soft in this position. And up. Good, now take your head down to one side. Doesn't matter which one, just keep your hands back. And come right back up the center, and then go to the other side. Tuck the chin down to the corner. And right back up through the center. One more for each direction. Posture by rolling your shoulders back in place. And thank you so much for joining me today for this sport mobility, range of motion and mobility class. Have a wonderful day, and